Isaac and his mother lived alone in a small house on a hill. Isaac kept to himself, drawing pictures and playing with his toys as his mom watched Christian broadcasts on the television. Life was simple, and they were both happy. That was until the day Isaac's mom heard a voice from above. "Your son has become corrupted by sin. He needs to be saved." "I will do my best to save him, my lord," Isaac's mother replied, rushing into Isaac's room, removing all that was evil from his life. Again, the voice called to her. "Isaac's soul is still corrupt. He needs to be cut off from all that is evil in this world and confess his sins." "I will follow your instructions, Lord. I have faith in thee," Isaac's mother replied, as she locked Isaac in his room, away from the evils of the world. One last time, Isaac's mom heard the voice of God calling to her. "You've done as I've asked, but I still question your devotion to me. To prove your faith, I will ask one more thing of you." "Yes, Lord, anything," Isaac's mother begged. "To prove your love and devotion, I require a sacrifice. Your son Isaac will be this sacrifice. Go into his room and end his life as an offering to me to prove you love me above all else." "Yes, Lord," she replied, grabbing a butcher's knife from the kitchen. Isaac, watching through a crack in his door, trembled in fear. Scrambling around his room to find a hiding place, he noticed a trapdoor to the basement hidden under his rug. Without hesitation, he flung open the hatch, just as his mother burst through his door and threw himself down into the unknown depths below.
That's a way to start our game. Welcome everyone to the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. My name is Gray, the circus streamer, and today we are going to be starting a new file. Decided to want to start the new year, new file, try to shake things up a little bit. Need to adjust some things real quick. There we go. So new file, we have Isaac, Maggie, Cain, Judas, Eve, Samson, Azazel, Lazarus, Eden, Lilith, and Apollyon. There are other characters that we will unlock as we go on, but we're going to be starting with Isaac. I want this series to also be able to talk about the origins of the characters, or like the mythological figures that the characters are based off of. Full disclosure, I'm an atheist who was once Christian, deconverted, but I went to a Christian high school and I've studied a lot about the Bible, and I have my Bible open up right here in front of me, and I'll be referencing it every now and then. So, let's get into it. We're going to go starting on hard mode since I'm a bit of a veteran at this game. Let's begin. So, Isaac. Obviously based off of the Isaac from the Bible. He is the son of Abraham, and you may have probably heard of him, even if you're not too familiar with Jewish or Christian mythology. There's like some songs written about him. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. He's considered the sort of father of the patriarchs of both the Jewish religion and of the Islamic religion. He is, obviously a son or a descendant of Noah, as pretty much everyone is. And so is his wife. Okay, what is this? I need to get every item in the game anyway, so I might as well pick this up now. Could have re-rolled it. Probably should have re-rolled it. Not exactly sure. I've almost never used this thing, so not too sure what it does. Definitely want to take that, but first I'm going to blow up this. Get the bomb, get the pot, check for secret rooms, and this over here. Get the trinket. But yeah, Abraham, who was originally named Abram, had a wife named Sarah, just for brevity's sake. Whoa! Don't fart at me, dude. I'm going to call her just Sarah and call Abram Abraham. Ugh. And they were half-brother, half-sister. So that would make Isaac, spoiler alert, an inbred child. I mean, it could be worse. It could be whole brother and whole sister. But I think that the story kind of starts off, let's see here, about chapter 12 of Genesis, which is in the Old Testament. Like, the first significant story that... actually, one of these is a library. I'm going to guess this is the library. Nope, this is a store. Hopefully I can find another... Let's see here. Alright, so I have to redo the room. Ah! Let's see, if this gives me another battery, I'm just going to call it good and re-roll the next... Oh! There's my key. I can go to the library now. Anyway, first story I can recall about Abraham and Sarah. Great, there's no books in here. Magician, Tower Lovers. Take the tower into the boss fight. Is they were traveling through Egypt, and Abraham turns to his wife Sarah and says, "Hey, you're pretty hot, so if we get, if someone like sees us together, tell them that you're my sister, and that way they won't kill me, and take you as their wife." Well, this plan kind of half works. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Okay, well, we're doing this again. This plan only half works because, well, first of all, it's kind of a half-truth anyway to begin with the fact that Sarah and Abraham are brother and sister, but they're also married. Okay. Kaboom. There are some some of Pharaoh's men who see Abraham and Sarah and decide, "Hey, is that your sister?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Sister's hot, so we're taking her to Pharaoh now." And then later, God smites Pharaoh and tells him, "Hey, dude, that's a married woman." And Pharaoh's all like, "Dude, what the hell? I thought this was your sister, dude." And Abraham's like, "Well, I mean, she kind of is." And he's like, "Dude, sick, get out of here." So they leave. What's funny is that same story happens again later. And Abraham does not really learn his lesson. He actually tells the same lie again. His wife gets picked up by a guy named Abimelech. God doesn't quite do any smiting this time, but like freaking Abimelech gives Sarah and Abraham a bunch of do-re-mi and tells them to like get out of the country. So they do. Anyway, God at some point told Abraham that he's going to be like the father of like he's going to have a lot of wealth, he's going to have a lot of children, all that sort of stuff. But like Abraham's wife Sarah was all like, "Dude, I'm 90 years old, you're 100 years old. There's no way I'm going to be having a baby. Baby maker is like out of commission, not happening. So maybe you should just sleep with my slave, Hagar." Never mind the fact that she has a really icky sounding name. So then basically Abraham's all like, "Okay, cool." And he sleeps with her. Not surprisingly, they have a kid, but like, I guess this wasn't part of God's plan, whatever. And, eventually Abraham and Sarah do have a child together, and that's Isaac. The child that Abraham has with Hagar is Ishmael, who many consider to be the patriarch of all the... Whoa! We got crawl space into a black market. Kind of the patriarch of all of the Muslims. Let's see here. I'm going to go with this and this. And pop that. And take these. Take that. And call that good. So yeah, blessings all around. Abraham has a child with Sarah. And this, again, is not real. This comes after Sodom and Gomorrah, which kind of like, you know, it gets sprinkled in with the story as well. Oh, sweet, I'll fucking take that. Eventually, God calls upon Abraham and it's all like, hey, you know that kid I gave you? Kill him for me. Abraham's like, okay, sure. So Abraham takes a couple of his slaves and his son, his inbred son, up to like a mountain. When they get to like the base of the mountain, he like tells the slaves, "Oh, you stay here. We'll take the wood and the knife. We're gonna have a sacrifice to God. We'll be back." Fudge. Oh, hey, sweet. I just profited from that. Yoink. I'm gonna pop this here. I'm hearing some crackin' lackin'. I remember being told the story in Sunday school as well as my Christian high school. And they talked about how, oh, if Isaac really wanted to, he probably could have overpowered Abraham. So, yeah. He was totally okay and was consenting to being murdered. So that I guess makes it better? I guess? I wouldn't say that really makes it any better. Especially for the fact that it's still murder. Yeah. So Abraham, you know, Isaac even asks him, so like, where's the sacrifice? And then Abraham's all like, oh, God's going to provide a sacrifice. And some people also say, oh, well, you know, Abraham had faith that God would provide so that he wouldn't have to kill his own son. Yeah, it's not exactly going to be quite accurate there, because Abraham was still going to go through and was obeying to kill his own child. There are parents all over the world who have done these sorts of things in the name of God. And I remember asking my Bible teacher, hey, you know, there are lots of people who, you know, make claims that they can hear God. Like there's a guy I heard about on an airplane who stripped naked because, you know, God told him to do that. And so what do we do about that sort of information? He's like, oh, well, clearly God, that wasn't God. That was just a crazy person. I'm like, how do you tell the difference? I never really got a straight answer for that. Monstrous tooth. Lipstick. What do we have in here? Oh my god, we have pay dirt. I can become Guppy. I have already unlocked Azazel. Let's see here. Take this. Gives me a heart. Take that. I am Guppy. Cat got your tongue challenge. I'm gonna take this actually. I do need to unlock that, but I also don't want to die. I'm only going to Mom's heart, or not Mom's heart. I'm just fighting Mom before going down any further, so I should probably just take this and this. Yeah, this is what we want to do. Kills me, revive, pump the paw, and we'll check the curse room before we leave. So yeah, Abraham goes through with the whole sacrifice thing, sets up the altar, ties Isaac to the altar. I mean, if like Isaac was really willing to do all this, then why'd he have to be tied down? I guess worried about involuntary reactions. Long story short, too late. An angel of God comes down, interrupts the sacrifice. It's all like, oh, no. It was just a test of your faith. Which, I don't understand why God would have to test anyone if he's supposedly all-knowing. Maybe he wanted to set up an example. But I guess you could have set up a better example than that. It's especially when you have parents who do withhold medical treatments to their kids, or will go ahead and kill their own kids, for religious reasons. There are all sorts of examples of people killing children in the name of God. Canaanites, I believe, are one example. I think in Deuteronomy there are laws you can look up where parents can actually have rules set up to stone their unruly children to death. So I wouldn't exactly hold up Christianity or Judaism as good guidelines for how to raise a child. Just my personal stake on that. Key. I think the next stake we should do here is probably go to the shop and start filling up the donation machine so we can unlock some more stuff. Oh, as for Hagar and Ishmael, well, apparently there was a great deal of resentment between Hagar and Sarah, even though it was Sarah's idea to start this sort of polyamorous, polygamous relationship. So the Bible plays a bit of a pronoun game, so I'm not exactly sure who had beef with whom. But eventually Hagar is kicked out, as well as Ishmael, which, just want to point out again, Isaac is the one who's inbred here. Ishmael is not. So Hagar and Ishmael get tossed out on their ear. They're wandering in the desert. They nearly die of exposure, but God intervenes, and they eventually find a well, and they're doing A-okay for themselves. And I've got fat stacks of cash! There are further stories that go on about Isaac. I think one of his sons, his children are Jacob and Esau. I'm gonna pop that. Pretty fly, it's good. I'll take it. Again, I need to start unlocking items. And having a high fire rate means more flies. I'm doing 10% less damage, but I am moving faster and I am producing more flies, so I think it evens out in favor for me. Pay to win. Forget exactly what this does. I'll carry it around. I have more than enough keys to last me until Mom. And I'm just gonna start... Well, take this. I'm just gonna start popping this. Just for funsies, pick that up. Oh. It's nothing. Actually, that's not a donation machine. That's just a reroll machine. I am not paying attention. I was able to clear out some of the items in that pool, though. So, what can I determine from the mythology it's based off of? We know that in this story, it's not Isaac's father who's trying to kill him. It's Isaac's mother. Oh, I think there's a secret room over there. Isaac's mother's never really named, so in my headcanon, I've always I got the Fallen. Oh my gosh. In my own headcanon, I always considered her name probably to be, you know, the pay to win thing might actually be the thing that put the reroll machine in there. Her name's probably Sarah. Isaac, we do know he has, in the story, in this game, a sister named Maggie. We'll get more into her later. Might be one of 2 Maggies that are in the Bible. Ooh. And I've got Lazarus. Don't even know what I did to unlock him. Probably just picked up a lot of blue hearts. We know that, spoiler alert, Isaac's father was in the picture at one point, but leaves. Isaac's father's never really named, so again, just assume he's probably called Abraham or something, or Abram. Whoop. And the Isaac in the game has a sort of like guilty conscience. He has a massive inferiority complex that's driven into him by a religious indoctrination. We don't really get that from the Isaac in the Bible. At least, not that I've really noticed. Ooh. If anything, I think that, the Isaac in the Bible probably did have a learning disability at one point. Or, not at one point, just plainly does. Considering the fact that I think he's the one who had trouble figuring out which of his sons is which as an old man. Oh, hell yes. I am now doing extra damage. One more mushroom. I get the mushroom transformation. The fun guy transformation. There we go. Little chubby. Head on down the line. Alright. This is pretty much easy mode at this point. Depths 1. I think I'm just going to, after this room, kind of rush the boss on the next floor. Finish this up real quick. And we can play some more Lazarus after that, since I just unlocked him. Maybe Azazel, too. We haven't unlocked the worst floors yet, so that's also one of the things that's making this a lot easier. Do still want to go to the shop, unlock more items in there with the donation machine, not the reroll machine. But mostly I'll do that as I come across it. Oof. As for treasure, let's see what's in here. Box of spiders. That's actually really good. These guys. I was kind of hoping we get a reroll machine. I think I'll just keep this. This will have more utilitarian purpose for me. Come on. There we go. Give me more money. Nope. Alright. Exploding Skullman. I remember the first time I played this game, back when it was being run on Flash. I was just blown away by the music, and it's like a budget epic sort of story, if that kind of makes any sense at all. Like, even though we're dealing with pennies and it's a child, crying on monsters to defeat him, it still had the sort of sense of epicness, epicity, I should say. Good, we got the deal with the devil. Do need to unlock everything. I could skip mom fight here, go to the next floor, and continue unlocking things. I don't get this opportunity very often. We're going to go into an extra long game. After I collect the treasure on the next floor, I'm going to keep going down deeper and see what we can uncover. Normally, since this is a new save, I would just end the game after fighting Mom, but with the shovel, we can make some extra progress here. What is this? Ooh, I think this is supposed to help my flies and spiders. Just gotta find the treasure room, possibly the shop, if I get enough money to make it worthwhile. Isaac and Ultra Pride. Throughout the series, I definitely do want to talk about the 7 deadly sins, which technically are actually 8 deadly sins. Apparently, I think avarice and wrath have some overlap, but they still count? The sources I've read, which were on Catholic websites, since the 7 deadly sins are a Catholic convention, make reference to it. Alright, next floor, next floor. As soon as we get the treasure. Oop, I'll take that. The knights seem to be taking a lot faster damage than they feel like they normally do. Normally when you enter a room, they're completely invulnerable for like the first second. I have nothing that leaks any creep, so I'm not even going to bother picking that up. I guess I should pick them all up if I'm going for all like 100% of everything. I'll just take that. Oh my god. So I'm just going to touch that. I'm not going to actually use it for, like, because that will kill me. Just going to pick that up, put it down. Aha! Then go down to the next floor. Cheating the system. Go ahead. Better late than never. Fistula. I'm not exactly sure what a fistula is. I think it's some sort of cancerous tumor thing. Ugh. So we've kind of skipped over something. We are now inside of Isaac's mother. The womb, so to speak. Definitely not the actual womb, because we fight the heart later. We're just inside her guts, I suppose. Kind of like what Isaac, as a child, would be interpreting what would the inside of his mother kind of probably look and smell like. It's going to be warm, I believe is how he describes it in the death animation, or the death scene, when you get to read his suicide note. Nice, Rotten Penny. I guess that's a parallel you can make there with the Isaac from the Bible and this Isaac, if you want to interpret the Isaac in the biblical canon to be suicidal, if he was giving himself up to his father and to God as a sacrifice. It's one way of looking at it. Now, the only reason I'm not digging down to the next floor right now is because I have incentive to fight the boss and get the Deal with Devil item that's there. Because I want to get as many items as I can to unlock 1001% progress. Are you bloody kidding me? I still profited from that since I have the wafer. Normally I'd be taking whole hearts of damage instead of half hearts, but I took the wafer on the last floor, which means that I can only receive ever a half heart damage from any source. There we go. Oh my. Sure. And now Headless Baby. Add that to my harem. I guess no. The 2-room only rerolls loose items on the floor of the room. Well, in specifically the room that you're in. So, yeah. I actually think that High Priestess card would probably do me better than the Emergency Contact. Yeah, I should have that instead. Emergency Contact, I think, just yanks out a couple enemies in the room that you're in. I think it also has other properties as well, but that's mostly what it does. I've gone to nearly every dead end I can without actually getting to the boss. Pills have been pretty good so far. Except for when they're not. Ciao. And secret room? Oh, come on. I'm pretty sure there's a secret room here. No secret room. Let's fight the boss. And of course, it's the one boss that the High Priestess card probably wouldn't actually have any help fighting against. Come on, show me that ass, Skolex. Show me that ass. I'll take this. And I'll trade it for this. And I have the health, so I'll just do that. Putting in a box. Moving on to the next floor. Now I have neither the Polaroid nor the negative, but I think I actually do want to skip this fight because I think that'll get a cutscene. If I do, head on down to the next floor to Sheol. Now, Sheol is the Jewish belief of an afterlife, their concept of it. What's interesting is that the concept of a hell, of eternal torment and torture, did not actually become a thing until the New Testament with the Christian religion. So yeah, most religions don't actually believe in a hell. I know that Islamic religion does. I'm not exactly sure what their concept of hell actually is. Son of a gun. I might actually die if I'm not careful. Actually might be a little underpowered for this floor. What would be really good right now is if I had a demon baby that was taking the red hearts that I was dropping as a result of Gimpy. Can I use this again? Didn't think so. Yoink. Give me anything? A bomb. Oh, I know what to do with this. Alright, get me a blue heart. Nothing? Alright, well, guess what you're doing. Kaboom, bitch! Alright, I am pulling away from the brink of disaster. That is such an odd champion power. When I die, all my teammates die. I don't need that. These are actually one of my favorite enemies in this game, are the knights. Very clearly based off of the knights that you see in... Ooh, boy. Legend of Zelda. The original Legend of Zelda is actually one of the... if there's anything that this game is inspired by more than the Bible, would be the Legend of Zelda. With its dungeon rooms, as well as its enemies that are populating the dungeons. The ghosts, which you see later in the game, are obviously inspired by the Wizrobes from the first Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I'll take it. Sacrifice room, but I don't have the health to actually warrant using it. Otherwise, I would totally do that. Try to get a few more items to unlock. Right now, we're looking for the devil, because for whatever reason, the devil is in Sheol. Which, honestly, I've never heard of the devil actually being in Sheol. I've more often heard about him being on Earth, or also in heaven. Interesting sort of mythological figure, him, since he is mentioned, like I said, to either exist on Earth or in heaven, at God's right hand. Speed down. That's a bummer. Kaboom! Here we go. The fight begins proper. he got like one attack in. Ow. Rude. And I think that should initiate the cutscene. The things I was also going to say about the devil is that he gets conflated with other characters in the Bible. The serpent and Lucifer, as well as Satan. I'm not exactly sure, where that kind of starts. I think they just kind of get all thrown together. But yeah, I was able to unlock a few things in advance. Like definitely the wrong ending. I was supposed to get the ending with Mom. So I think I'll be doing that in the next episode. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. My name is Gray, the Circus Streamer. And in the next episode, we'll be focusing more on gameplay aspects rather than straight up Christian mythologies. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. If indeed you still are. And I will see you next time. Take care. Well, let's see who we unlocked first, at least.